So Eternals finally dropped, and with it came plenty of post-credit reveals we'll be talking about for months to come. The first of which featured a surprise cameo from a handsome celebrity taking on a famous Marvel character. That would of course be Patton Oswalt as Pip the Troll. Just kidding. The big reveal was actually that Harry Styles would be playing Thanos' brother Eros, aka Starfox. So let's get into why this is a big deal. Now, before we get into who Eros is, we have to establish that the Eternals are very different in Marvel Comics. They're not basically fancy robots made by Celestials, but rather natives of Earth like humans, who were made by Celestials. Thousands of years ago, there was a rift among the Eternals, and some of them moved to Saturn's moon of Titan. Alars, also known as Mentor, was the leader of the Titanian colony where he fathered both Thanos and Eros. Now, while Thanos was born with a deviant gene that made him purple and monstrous, Eros was the exact opposite. He was a beautiful man with a lust for life, as opposed to Thanos' nihilistic obsession with death.
All that for a drop of blood.
This was reflected in his powers as well. Like Ikaris, Eros was able to fly and had super strength. He also had the psychic ability to manipulate the emotions of other people. While his brother was a serious conqueror, Eros was known more for his fun-loving adventures across the galaxy. Once Thanos began his reign of terror on Titan, Eros returned home to fulfill his duty to his planet. Now, eventually, he moved to Earth, where he trained to become an Avenger and first earned the name Starfox. I mean, if I was going to name myself after a Super Nintendo game, that would probably be the one I'd choose too. Eros would go on to have quite the superhero career as Starfox, fighting against the likes of Annihilus, Nebula, and of course, his brother Thanos. Despite the fact that the two were always at odds with one another, their father made them promise to get together every eternal year, which translates to 1,000 human years. The two would put their grievances aside to hang out as brothers. Seeing as how Thanos is a big pile of dust outside of the Avengers compound in the MCU, it seems unlikely that we'll see this happen on the big screen.
Aye, aye, Commander.
No superhero is complete without their fun-loving sidekick, and for the MCU's Eros, it looks like that'll be Pip the Troll. Now, this is a little strange, considering the fact that he was originally the sidekick for Adam Warlock, who will be played by Will Poulter in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
See you in the next life, yeah?
In Marvel Comics, Pip was introduced as an enemy of the Universal Church of Truth. This organization was led by Magus, a version of Adam Warlock from the future. Pip's hedonistic ways made him an enemy to the Church and subsequently a friend to Warlock. The two would go on several adventures together, where Pip served as the comedic counterpart to his dour superheroic companion. Over the years, he met the likes of the Silver Surfer, Drax the Destroyer, and yes, Eros. So what will the future hold for Eros and Pip? Well, a lot of that depends on what happens with the Eternals franchise. While any other Marvel property would be lined up for a surefire sequel, Eternals has gotten the worst reviews of any MCU film ever, prompting the producers to say that a sequel isn't a sure thing. So, while we will definitely get some sort of resolution to all the drama with Arishem the Judge, it may not be a film titled Eternals 2. Now, regardless of what happens to this particular franchise, one thing is clear. Eros and Pip will be teaming up with Thena, Druig, and Makkari to find Phastos, Circe, and Kingo. Chances are they'll bump into other Eternals that didn't make it into the first film, like Zurus, Vulcan, and Kronos. These characters could be presented as either Eternals from other worlds in the MCU, or Eternals who were part of their shared pasts on other planets. The gang might also come across Eternals like Ultimus, or the Kree, or Clyburn, or the Skrulls. The MCU pretty much established that every single planet with sentient life should have Eternals guarding it from deviants until the planet gets blown up by a celestial birth, so we should see a lot more of them. After this family reunion road trip to find Arishem, it'll be interesting to see what's next for Eros. They could take him in several different directions. Starfox served as an Avenger for several years, meaning he could join the likes of Captain Marvel, the new Captain America, and the Jane Foster Thor in the new Avengers. They could also throw him into the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Assuming those characters are still alive after James Gunn is through with them.
No!
So, does this mean that we're getting a Thanos origin movie? I really hope so, because after Eternals, I have so many questions. Is Thanos an Eternal? A deviant? Or was he even created by the Celestials at all?